The Baskervilles Doc from Chernobyl. It's a criminal fantasy based on many real facts. It was written to commemorate people who saved our lives in 1986. Dear friends, don't trouble till trouble troubles you. It's a well-known proverb. Believe me that if we follow this simple advice, our life can be much easier and happier. In 1986, I was a student of the Kiev State University, a very popular educational establishment of the Ukraine and of the USSR. For the young generation, I can explain that in this period we all were Soviet people, and I remain to be the Soviet even now. Later, the Baltic republics and the republics of the Middle East will call Russia the conqueror, but in 1986 we did not know about it. Lithuania, Estonia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and others were my motherland. It was necessary to live and to be happy. But as I mentioned at the beginning, we did not follow the simple rule. We looked for something different and definitely better and happier. I was a student of the Department of Modern Languages and worked as a part-time interpreter. For the ordinary Soviet person, it was a dream to see the people from different countries. For a young and stupid girl as I was at this time, the foreigners were representatives of the highest race. In this time, only the richest and extraordinary tourists visited the Soviet Union because it was very difficult to obtain visas. In our days, every alcoholic can buy a ticket and go to any part of the former Soviet Union without problems. As I said, I was young and unexperienced and did not think that people could be different and that I met only people of the highest class. My dream was to immigrate abroad and to become rich, successful, and beautiful as they all were. The United Kingdom was a synonym of the paradise. At this time, the developed socialism could not offer us big houses, cars, even clothes and make-up were the problem. But none of us could appear on the street and became homeless. Every single mom was offered a job. If you had the higher education, sooner or later you will find a job closer to your specialty and nobody fire you. Now it sounds like a music for me after the experience of being homeless with a small child and a mother with cancer in my paradise called Britain. In April 1986, I stayed at home and finished my diploma. Everything was boring, dull, grey, and the world was painted in dark colors. Only the weather promised a nice spring and inspired for the reconsideration of the dreams and wardrobe, new admirers and adventures. On the 25th of April 1986, I met with my friend Tanya. We designed new suits for the 1st of May. It's funny, the shops were empty and the visitors from abroad were surprised by the well-dressed people and the variety of food on the tables in our houses. Some secrets can be revealed and used even in our days. When the financial situation became worse, people should think about themselves. Ladies bought cheap material in the shops and designed clothes themselves. We all could sew, knit, and in the evening a group of friends met together. And it was such a fun! We created unique fashionable skirts, blouses, dresses, and we socialized with a glass of wine. Double benefit was achieved by the necessity to survive. We made clothes and speak and share secrets, give advice without psychologists, and remembers to talk to each other, given by today's British TV programs. We did not have mental diseases, there was no fear, and instead there was a hope in tomorrow's happiness and life improvement. As for food, it was also a challenge. Every housewife cooked all meals at home. Fruits, vegetables were grown at dachas. These are small country houses which resembled more shades. Anyway, it was a fitness on the fresh air, plus free, healthy food products. So on the 25th of April, I planned to finish my suit and to go for a walk next day with my friends. The evening was quiet, and together with Tanya we were relaxed, enjoyed the life, and full of optimism and hopes, and tomorrow's plans to conquer all the men and women by our new dresses. Two beautiful young ladies waited for their bride, full of positive emotions, future. Morning of the 26th of April 1986, I will remember forever. As a single child in the family, I was spoiled and a bit lazy. Plus, it was a period of the educational leave. So I slept till midday. The phone call woke me up. I was alone at home. My mother, a university professor, was at her job. My stepfather, a chief judge of the Ukraine, was at the hearing at the court. It was strange to hear his worried voice as all his phones were switched off during the job. Lucy, stay at home. It's very important. I will explain everything in the evening. Don't go outside and close all the windows. These were the only words said by him. I was really shocked. My stepfather, a serious person, could never make such jokes. This information a little bit confused me. The phone calls to my friends did not bring any clearance. My mother came home and was also surprised by my words. We understood that something extraordinary happened, but could not imagine even the size of the disaster. My stepfather was a very open, confident man with a smiling face. People who did not know his profession could not imagine him reading a sentence for criminals. By the way, there were legends about his honesty even among prisoners. Explosion at Chernobyl. There were only 2 words instead of usual greetings and jokes. Stop it! I am fed up with these gossips. Every month the same. The end of the world and the explosion of Chernobyl. I was the first to interrupt the silence. All the young people considered themselves to be the cleverest in the world. Let's watch the TV. If the situation is so serious, it should be the information on the news, my mother offered. Stupid ladies. You live in the USSR. Who will tell you the truth? This is the secret. The army, the fire divisions are in Chernobyl. Nobody will reveal this fact. The stepfather was unusually rude and strict. The news on TV told about the preparation to the celebration of the 1st of May, the big holiday in the USSR. I contacted all my friends, but nobody trusted me. There were too much frequently spread rumors about tragedy in Chernobyl, and nobody seriously listened to my advices to stay at home and not allow kids to play outside. Kiev was only 70 kilometers far from Chernobyl. Nuclear station was very close. For radiation, it's nothing. This was the first nightmare in my life. I remember every minute of this silence, which scared more than the noise. You feel the bells in the air, which predict the trouble, and the person becomes so small and unprotected, it seemed that a big dark monster may swallow you, and there was no sign of life. There was the smell of death and loneliness. You are only human being in the universe, and you will be disappeared without any remembrance of your existence. Radiation was such a dreadful word, and it was around us, but you could not touch it, smell it, taste it like the death. It's everywhere and nowhere. In my imagination, these were small red cells which were flying around me and eating me like small monsters in the film of the horror. The human being is a very strong unit of the universe. The morning brought the confirmation of the disaster, but it became real. The soldiers, drivers, firemen contacted their families, and the information spread all around Kiev and Ukraine. The Soviet people have accustomed to live as a big community. The terrible details of the fire, death of people became obvious, but we were together. There was no official announcement, as Gorbachev did not allow to reveal the scariest secret of the country. He was scared of the panic. The Soviet people have accustomed to receive the information not from media, but from friends, neighbors, and colleagues. We stayed at the kitchen as children and elderly parents slept in the rooms and shared the obtained information with each other. Gorbachev did not want us to know the truth. Anyway, the panic started. We were lucky, as we did not have small children. People attacked the railway and bus stations. The airports were overcrowded. Mainly mothers with babies tried to run away from the hell. The scientists said that the most vulnerable group of the population are children, elderly are less affected by the radiation. Mothers with the children took only passports and money to travel God knows where. The train's compartments were shared by the groups of 10-15 adults plus babies. The picture of the railway station reminded the films of Second World War. The mad crowds stormed the train, children cried, mothers shouted. The scientists gave us the instruction to stay at home, drink red wine, and to wash ourselves and premises 3-4 times a day. We were in a better situation than during the pandemic because we could stay together. These were parties all day long. The red wine was the most popular drink. It was scary, but alcohol and invisible enemy helped a bit to relax. The most tragic moment was during the demonstration on the 1st of May, when the columns with the people marched in the center of the city. It was a very warm weather. I would like to tribute and to say good words about the first secretary of the Ukrainian Communist Party, Vladimir Sherbitsky. He was with his people on the street and his family too. I respect these people because his wife was a teacher of Russian language at my school. Twice a week she went to her job without guard, and she had lunch with the pupils in the ordinary school canteen. Vladimir Sherbitsky did not leave his country, and people were with him. He hasn't, in comparison to Gorbachev, who has not visited the Ukraine and urgently went on a business trip to Hungary. These weeks passed and we learned to live in the new world with the radiation. Definitely the doctors, drivers, policemen, soldiers suffered most of all. The people who stopped the fire in the fourth reactor will be always in our hearts. They saved our lives. People who lived in the Chernobyl zone were also at the high-risk group. It was painful to see how they had to leave their houses and to run away. In the Soviet Union, there were no insurance companies and nobody paid them compensation. Families with the small children had to move to their relatives, friends. I was an interpreter. In several weeks, I was qualified and I had to work in tourist for several years. So now I was offered a constant job. The proposal from the joint group of scientists from the United Kingdom, USA, Sweden and Denmark to accompany them to the Chernobyl was made and I agreed. There was more interest than understanding the situation and the consequences of such a trip. At this time, foreigners were not allowed to come to the reactor, but scientific research work and the assistance were appreciated as perestroika led by Gorbachev started. I did not realize that this journey could ruin my life. I was happy to work with the new people and was proud of myself to help the country. The group allowed to go to Pripyat to make the necessary measurements of the radiation, to walk around and return to Kiev for the meeting with the officials. It took us several hours for the research work. On the way back, it was necessary to wash the van by the militaries. We decided to leave the car and waited for this outside. The forest was very close to us. Suddenly the rain started, and I ran under the tree. I heard the sound of the thunderstorm, and then saw the light very close to me. Then sudden pain and nothing. I lost the consciousness. I opened the eyes and there were a lot of doctors around me. Where am I? My voice sounded unknown even for me. Don't worry. You did not suffer. There was a thunderstorm. You were hit, but there are no signs of the brain damage or any damage at all. The oldest doctor explained to me. Dear, you should rest and sleep, he added. I accompanied the group. That's my job. I should finish it. I tried to leave the bed, but fell down immediately. No worries, love, the doctor's voice was kind. You were substituted by another interpreter, and your group even sent you the flowers. Today they will go home. Today? I asked the doctors. How long have I slept? 24 hours. The group left the ward and I noticed my closest friend Anna. We have been together for the whole life. She could treat me by phone because she was a perfect doctor and she feels me and knows me better than myself. Her eyes were frightened. Please tell me the truth, I asked my friend. Nobody knows what will happen. X-ray shows nothing. Hopefully it was just a hit and a shock. You were found on the ground unconsciousness in the forest with a little trembling dog. A dog? Where is this dog now? He was taken home by your family. You should sleep, eat, and be positive. No reasons for serious trouble, she answered. Anna made me the injection and I fell asleep. For the first time in my life, I had a very strange dream. It was not a dream, it was a mixture of a nightmare and a reality. I did not participate in the action. Something happened around me. People walked, spoke, the colors were bright, and nobody noticed me. I was invisible. Suddenly, my attention was attracted by a young, slim, very beautiful blonde lady. Her face seemed very familiar. I have seen her somewhere. I knew these big eyes, long hair. There was a feeling that we were even connected, but I could not recognize her. Anyway, I followed this lady without any reason. The blonde girl entered the house and closed the door. She put the key into the handbag and went upstairs. I wanted to leave the premises, but the door was locked. The only one solution was to follow the stranger and to ask her to give me the freedom. When I entered the room on the ground floor, I saw a big bed and a very strong and handsome man was there. My new acquaintance and this man started making love. I wanted to run away or to say something, but I could not. The door was closed and they could not hear me. The lovers did not pay attention to my presence. Yesul, a man called the girl, my honey. You are the best mistress in the world, he whispered. He was making a gentle massage of his back and shoulders. Then she turned him and started kissing the chest and moved lower and lower. His partner moaned and she jumped on him. Her eyes became mad. She tied his arms to the bedstand. Yasul was on the top of the lover. She was moving quicker and quicker on the top of the man. She screamed and scratched the chest of her partner. It was a scream of both lovers. Suddenly, she kissed his lips. Her hands hugged his neck. Another scream, and the man was strangled by a beautiful, slim girl. Yasul started laughing, and she looked like a witch. Suddenly, I shouted and opened my eyes. I was a victim of the murder. Anna was sitting on my bed. I was still in the hospital. Everything is all right, my dear. Her eyes were full of tears. I sat in my bed. Where am I? You're still in the hospital. Maybe it was a nightmare. Forget about it. I was scared to tell Anna the truth. She will consider me to be crazy. Don't worry, Lucy. You are all right. It was a shock. Definitely you have an emotional trauma. You need a good psychologist. All your tests are perfect. You should survive. The voice of Anna became more and more positive. I returned home and my life became usual. In that time, it was popular to arrange so-called kitchen parties. 2-3 times a week, friends met together, had a glass of wine or beer, and discussed the problems, shared news. The information about radiation now was announced on TV. Every day we had reports that foreign scientists measure the level of the radiation and there was no risk for the health of Kievites. There was an article in the newspaper that Virgin Mary with the baby was seen on the balcony of the old and ruined church near Kiev. Thousands of people visited place and made pictures, but there was no clear image. Maybe it was the desire of the mankind to believe in the protection of the city. Maybe it was the reality. Who knows where is the truth? Does it exist at all? I have a theory that every person has its own vision of the life, which means that everyone has its own truth. My health became better. One evening my friends came with the detective inspector of the criminal police called Roman. I liked him, but the wedding ring on his fingers stopped me from flirting. I have always liked crime dramas and asked my new guest to tell something interesting. Oh, several days ago, a young actor was killed, he said. Oh, let me guess. He was robbed on the street after the performance, I interrupted him. Unfortunately, together with Perestroika, we released a lot of criminal problems. The first one was the rise of the criminal activity, especially on the street. People were scared to leave the house in the evening. A lot of the gangsters appeared in the city. No, Lucy, this actor was strangled by the woman, Roman said. Why not a man? I asked him. He had a sexual intercourse, and this showed that it was a woman. His hands were tied. There are witnesses who saw a beautiful blonde lady. If I saw a real ghost, my face would be less scared. Lucy, what happened? Anna asked me. You have fears again? Maybe it's better not to discuss all these murders now. Sorry, Roman apologized. In several seconds, I could control myself. No, I have a rich imagination. I didn't want to be an idiot in the eyes of my new friend. We shall better leave you now. It's time to rest. Anna made a conclusion that I need a deep sleep. When the guests left my house, I took all medication which were at home to feel myself more quiet. My God, what was this? Am I mad? How could I see the murder? Who is this lady? I definitely saw her somewhere. I can't tell somebody about my dreams. Anna will send me to the psychiatric clinic and Roman will suspect me. Who can help me? Suddenly I fell asleep after this Shakespeare's drama. Next day I followed the advice of my friend and visited my psychologists. Sorry, mental specialists, but all these conversations that everything will be fine and it's necessary to believe in happiness does not work for me. I know myself better, and my intellectual level is high enough to estimate the reality and all possibilities in the future. During the next 2 days, I forgot about my dreams thanks to the medication. Tablets made me more calm. It was a strange time, but I met Roman quite often. He explained that this by the fact that his work is situated very close to my house. I didn't trust him. Once he entered the building of KGB. That makes me think that my new friend is not sincere enough and he works to a different organization. Roman was handsome, clever, with a good sense of humor, cunning but married. The last fact was unacceptable for me. I have never been too moral, but men with their wife have never attracted me. Maybe additional complications after my illness stopped my feelings. In 3 days, Roman called me and invited to the rendezvous. I refused and decided to forget about this man. The destiny has another plans. We met on the street in a few days and Roman shocked me. Hi Lucy, I like you very much, even more than you can imagine. And the fact pushes me to the criminal effect. His voice was very cold. What? The last words I did not understand. There was a number of sounds, and he repeated, I like you very much, even more. At this can make me push to the criminal offense. What? Was the only word I could ask him. At this moment, my dog, brought from Chernobyl, snapped into the leg of Roman. To be continued. Sorry, friends, this returned me to the very dramatic events of my life. Sometimes I was really ready to cry. I wish you good luck and please wait for the continuation.